Welcome back, guys. This is Dr. Kale, and today I'm going to be talking about paladin tanking tier 4 25-mans. I'll be going over just generic guide, tips, and tricks on how to main tank and or off tank all the bosses in 25-man content in Phase 1 of TBC. And just a friendly reminder, guys, as a disclaimer, keep in mind I am the raid leader / guild master of my guild, so when I want to try strategies, it's a little easier for me to kind of sway the raid on how we do things. So if you're going to try these, just approach your leadership with a very positive attitude, kind of back it up with some information, some logs, things like that, or just a general strategy on how you do fights. But I'm going to kind of go over how we do it. And as well as I'm open to ideas in the comments if you guys have any suggestions. But I'm going to kind of hop into it. We're going to kick it off with Meg Theridon's lair. So I'll get a video up here and I'll kind of show you how we start the pull and how we do it. On this first video, I'm going to show over, I'm not main tanking Meg Theridon on this. I'm technically one of the off tanks. But as the prop pally, I end up tanking Skull and X. So we kill, this is one of our first parsing kills. We kill Skull and X, that's what they're labeled as. X gets misdirected to me, and I dump all my threat into Skull. Yeah, at this point, the second misdirect that goes on me is misdirecting Skull to me. But you can see on my threat meter on the top left, I have a pretty good lead. Tabbing back and forth, I know I'm pretty far ahead. So just keep that in mind. I'm pretty spell power heavy. In this raid, I'm sitting at about 600 spell power. While you're tanking these two targets, it's one thing to always be trying to pick up infernals as the prop paladin. Throw out the exorcisms when you can. When my two targets are dead, I'm now going to field infernals and keep them off my healers. We lost a healer. That's not really on me, but now it is my job to keep my healers alive. From here on out, if a healer were to die, that's on me. If they're slowed like they were right there, I went for a Holy Wrath. Now that's more of an aggressive style, chasing a parse. I'll run over and judge wisdom on one of the Chandlers if I can, but this whole time I'm fielding infernals this whole time. Taunting one, exorcism the other. Warlocks are free to banish them at this point. Again, one got feared, came out of fear, killed Office again. Our Resto Shaman was very unfortunate. But a prop paladin, when you're off tanking, your job is, after Skull and X are dead, your job is to field infernals. You can fear them as a prop paladin, but again, you can kind of tank them, kite them around, go pick up others. Healers are pumping threats, so just keep an eye on them. A cloth healer is going to get one shot. The shaman, I think, took 2 hits, so it doesn't take much to kill a healer. And again, one thing to notice on this is the amount of consumables. So for me to use sappers, destruction potions, both scrolls, actually all 3 scrolls, strength, agi, protection, spell power, food. This is more of the try-hard prot paladin, chasing a parse. I think on this specific kill, I got world 3rd in damage. But again, I go right back to what I'm supposed to be doing as a raid leader, is I swap a shaman out for lust, swap him into a group that he stays in for lust. I'm announcing groups with my macros in the bottom right. But it just... be that team player. You're not the all-star damage. Nobody cares about your damage. Only other prop paladins will care about your damage in a fight, to be honest. One thing to do is, if you are chasing a parse, if you don't have a shadow priest in your party, which I do, go stand in fire, take some fire damage, get healed up from it, pop all your cooldowns, destruction potion again. When Meg Theridon goes into his banish phase where people are clicking cubes. Other than that, just keep your seal up. And again, if you're parsing, you're going to be using grenades, bombs, sappers, potions. You're going to be using everything. Oil of immolation, all that try-hard shit when you're trying to trace the parse. I mean, at this point, I'm not even that far behind Tandor, our main tank in threat. But that is just something to keep in mind when chasing the parse. here on this second video, this is a video of me gonna main tank Magtheridon. It's gonna be sped up this whole run, but you can see I'm still picking up Infernals prior to this. I'm kind of speeding it up. And the one thing to remember is different setup here. Less spell power, more stamina, fort flask. Our group had, we're splitting and doing split runs, so I can't use Tandor to tank this run when I need him to tank another run. And we use Nagwin to tank a third run. So this is just something to keep in mind. But it can be done as a Prot paladin. It's a little more stressful on your healers. And in Get Carried, we 4-heal Magtheridon. We 4-heal everything in 25 man at the moment. It probably could be done with less. Not too much is special here, though, but just proper amount of consumables. Swapping myself into a warriors group with commanding shout. Even with the damage I'm taking, I was honestly losing mana, which I was honestly surprised, but you gotta watch your threat, and it comes pretty close on this kill, to be fair, and you can see it in the top left. And generically speaking about threat, one thing I like to do, if you're a very quiet tank, tanking's probably not your role, to be honest. Be vocal. If a shaman or a hunter's climbing, call their name out and be like, yo, you need to drop your threat, you need to stop attacking. If they can't do that thinking on their own, help them out and do their thinking for them, and you'll secure a kill. And if you are in tank in phase 1, the next creature you will see is something you'll come across a lot. This is a full Beastlord Orc Hunter. Sometimes these players just refuse to watch threat. Recently had a hunter in our guild rip threat multiple times, even though I'm doing everything I can. Destruction potion, wings, on you spell power trinket, judging. I've got Ellie Shaman in my group. This guy's still ripping threat. I ask him if he has a threat meter, to which he replies, nah, I didn't think I need it.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
So now we're on to High King. This is a fight where for parse-wise, if you didn't know, you pop all your cooldowns, you kill High King, and the parse stops. So that's why we focus him down. While tanking High King, you can see right there, I Hammer of Justice, Blind Eye, the healer. Our shamans are focus interrupting. To be honest, this strategy is actually really easy. You just kill High King, pop all your cooldowns, and then all you have to deal with the ads, and yeah, they melt. So we pre-lust. I'm popping Oil of Immolation. I'm popping... when I'm tanking High King, because I'm afraid of Arcing Smash and taking maybe some bad damage, I do use an Iron Shield Potion instead of Destruction Potion. I'm looking for survivability. As well as on pull, I'm popping a Nightmare Seed. I'm expecting him to die in 30 seconds. Again, if your guild's not, the DPS just isn't there. Just friendly reminder, maybe don't tank him or try to hold out on the Nightmare Seed, and when the lust ends. When your healers don't have lust, maybe hit that Nightmare Seed at that point. We're going to show you, it's slowed down, but here's an example of a very bad pull. The pre-lust went out, everything went fine, but pay attention to the mage tank mob. You'll see Chain Lightning jumps and hits it. Thus, now I've got the mage on top of me. Arcing Smash, you're going to see me I take a 6k Blast Nova onto an Arcing Smash, and I die really quickly. And we don't know if it was a mana potion or some type of resource gain that caused the mage to run in, but either way, I still died. Moving on to Ghoul. Very easy fight for the most part. Again, as a tank on Ghoul, if you're main tanking it, mana shouldn't be an issue. And with the Sank build, you can see I have huge snap threat. All I get, as far as I've ever been paying attention, is I only get one misdirect. The rest go into the off tank. Ret Pally popped all this shit, insta died. That's on him. Usually want to wait for the first hateful there. Being in the Shadow Priest group as a prop paladin is something I highly advise. It's not mandatory, it's not needed, but if you're off tanking Gruul by chance, Like, your guild might have you throw on holy gear or just do prot DPS, and that's totally fine. But if you find yourself off tanking and taking hatefuls, you're going to need the mana pool to keep up threat. So you'll be chugging dark runes, super mana potions, things like that. Because once you run out of your mana, your threat goes right the fuck out the window. So I prefer to main tank Gruul. That way if I need to be not in the Shadow Priest group, I'll be fine. But the more hunters you have, the easier it'll be. Bumbo, our off tank here, he did alright. His gear wasn't the best. Maybe could have hit a haste potion to keep up. But you can see with the Sankora build, spell power setup, threat really isn't an issue once I get out ahead. I throw a grenade there. Not the best idea to do, but when we're killing Gruul before he grows 3 or 4 stacks, there's really no threat, no chance of me dying to him, even in a silence. But again, on Gruul, Iron Shield potions. If the fight's going longer, swap to Devotion Aura. Nightmare Seeds, the later silences. Make sure you're talking. If you have a druid in the raid, they need to keep full hots on you so you can survive an extra hit through the silence. But for the most part, main tanking it itself isn't too terribly hard. Pretty straightforward fight for the most part. And you as the main tank should have priority on after when Shatter's about to happen. You always get back to your spot. Everybody else around you should move. Even though with this far of a threat lead, it's probably not the end of the world. I think there we lost 5 more people. Not the healthiest Gruul we've done. But if you haven't maintained Gruul yet as a prop paladin, it's pretty fun. You get infinite mana, and it's nice. So, there I lay on hands even, right? I didn't know if I'd survive the next melee swing. Throw the lay on hands just to be safe. So, always use that cooldown. Don't let it sit off cooldown as well. Feel free to use it whenever you have to. Just announce that you used it. Alright. We don't have world buffs anymore, but consumables are as important, if not more, now that TBC is here. So, if you want to min max or if you want to be a good prop paladin, you're going to need them. Please excuse the shitty snippets, but scrolls, generically, that's not all the scrolls, but Agi, Strength, Protection, if you really try hard, Nightmare Seed, Iron Shield Potion, Dark Runes, Superior Wizard Oil, gives you flat spell power, put it on your weapon. Alright, spell power food, with that as well, stamina food, both flask. You can flask Fortification, you can flask Blinding Light, depending on the scenario, whether you need more survivability, more threat. If you have engineering, pick up some bombs, sappers, they're really nice. Mana potions, of course. Remember, mana potions you can use as, if some ads get away from you, you can use them as a quick snap threat over a healer if a healer has threat. Resource regeneration will give you threat. And the last item is Oil of Immolation. Isn't the biggest ticket item, but any little damage can help that parse. Alright, the second thing we're going to be talking about is awareness. As a prop paladin, you need to kind of be watching multiple things. If there's things that get away from tanks that don't have a ranged taunt, and the mob is tauntable, Chandlers, Infernals, some of the High King Mulgore ads, you need to be there to do it. I know on Make Theridon Trash, I'm the one doing the interrupts on all of the unstable afflictions, and then I get cleansed, and then I cleanse another one. They cleanse the silence off me, I cleanse another one. As a tank, as the pally tank, you need to be aware of your surroundings. Also, have a UI that shows incoming healing. It's really crucial as a tank to know if you can see incoming healing, and it might require healers to all have the same add-on. I know LVUI shows it, and maybe it's only shows other healers who have LVUI, but it's nice to know when healing is incoming. Alright guys, the third thing we're going to talk about is gear. in order to main tank a lot of these fights, ideally you're pre-raid and or more geared. Most of your first kills, I really don't suggest having a paladin tank. But if you are more geared than the other tanks with more avoidance, then I guess step up to the plate and knock it out. I started main tanking pretty much after I was full tier 4, and thereon into tier 5 I should be fine, but even on progression kills in tier 5 coming up, I will most likely not be main tanking many bosses. As a pally tank, have an uncrushable set, have a spell power threat set, have gear always in your bags to swap out pieces as you feel needed for either harder hitting bosses or maybe more AoE mobs where you need to have more AoE threat. Guys, thanks for watching. Not my most highest quality video I've released, but please, if you have any questions in the comments, feel free to reach out. Even my clicking ass can still pull some good parses. The screenshot here is from June. I just took it today at June 30th, and it's in phase 1. Almost top 15, usually top 5 on our kills in the world as a prot paladin. So even clicking, boys, I'm making it happen.